one will have their graduation commencements in person this year, where each ceremony is different from the other.
And COVID testing has increased in February and for the rest of the semester.
Plus, mark your calendars for the mental health days taking place this spring.
All that and more on the Q30 Newscast.
Live in the Media Suite, a new semester brings another episode of the Q30 Newscast. I'm Eric Kerr.
And I'm Ashley Cotto. We have some breaking news on this year's graduation ceremony. The class of 2021 received an email from Provost Leibowitz announcing that graduation will be in person with moderations for this spring graduates. The spring graduates will be able to sit in the People's United Center 6 feet apart. Friends and family will not be allowed to join in person. They will be able to watch the ceremony online. Some students are happy with this decision, but students like Jennifer Finley and the 700 plus people who signed her petition want at least 2 guest presents.
When I Googled the capacity of the Quinnipiac hockey stadium, I saw that it holds over 3,000 people. And I know that a lot of the schools like in Quinnipiac, such as like the School of Nursing, only have around like 200 students. So if each student were to bring 2 guests, that would only be around 600 people. And I don't know for sure, but I believe that 600 people could be 6 feet apart each in a 3,000 person arena. So that's kind of why I thought maybe we should see if this conversation can be revisited.
Olamide Botasha said she fought hard for in-person ceremonies to happen. Botasha did
semester. We believe when we met with them, they had already had their own set plan, and it was kind of leading to virtual only. And so we kind of really fought for it to even be in person. And so I think that's the only really part. When it comes to guests, there's not much we can really do about it. That's really up to COVID and state guidelines that we do to capacity and things like that. So we don't really play a part in the guest part, but to be in person, that's the part that we really played a role in to really make sure that I was able to be.
Botasha did say there will be an open forum regarding graduation next Tuesday at 9:15 p.m. All details are tentative depending on what alert the university will reach at the time. The commencements are set to take place May 7th to May 10th.
Quinnipiac has already moved into a yellow campus risk level just 3 weeks into the start of classes. In the fall, it was over a month until Quinnipiac made the shift from green to yellow.
Matt Jaronczyk is with us to give us more on the surge of positive COVID cases.
Last Sunday, the Quinnipiac community was notified by the university that it would be moving into a yellow alert. The statement, sent by Senior Medical Advisor Dr. David Hill, mentioned that a total of 54 students tested positive for COVID-19 from the pre-arrival and on-campus tests.
It's definitely very alarming. Obviously last semester we had to go home early. We had that spike after the Anthony's party, and for this to happen this early is definitely shocking.
The influx of cases coming from residential students resulted in the university quarantining 2 of its residence halls, Commons and the Hill 10s building. Those who test positive or those living in the 2 residence halls must attend the required weekly testings for all students at the Burt Kahn Court. Students like Kim Can believe that the university is doing their best for testing students.
I think we're doing really good because I know most of the other schools, they test students every week. Because I know my friends go to University of New Hampshire, they get tested every week and try to migrate the cases too. And if they see a cluster, they're like, you had to go in quarantine because there's a lot of COVID cases in your dorm.
Despite the university's efforts in mitigating the virus, Senior Medical Advisor Dr. David Hill calls for students to follow health guidelines.
If Quinnipiac students want to get back to where we were in November, and fortunately November came up against Thanksgiving, so it didn't have as many implications. You'll get together in your party and you won't wear masks and you'll be in closed spaces for long periods of time, but we can't let that happen.
Since the Super Bowl, Quinnipiac has reported 7 positive cases, 4 coming from residential students, 3 coming from off-campus students. With these low numbers, the lowest since January 28th, Quinnipiac looks to reverse the trend. Matthew Juronsik, Q30.
Thanks, Matt. Now, before the start of the spring semester, the university increased the amount of COVID testing on campus. Students are given 2 different dates each week to receive a test. This testing method will last until the end of February for the rest of the spring semester. Targeted weekly testing will assign up to 20% of the student body to receive a on-campus test. Overall, students have thought positively of the new testing method.
I believe the weekly testing is a really good thing that the campus has put together, because not only do I feel safe being on campus, but I know that everyone else around me is staying safe, and then it just feels good to do.
Quinnipiac, along with other universities, have decided to not have a spring break as a way to protect the Bobcat bubble. Instead, there will be 2 mental health dates. The dates are listed in the university calendar as Tuesday, March 9th and Wednesday, April 21st. Classes will not be taking place, but the university will still open and operate as normal. Don Sawyer, Quinnipiac's Vice President for Equity and Inclusion, explains why the mental health days are on the calendar.
We knew that stress would be heightened due to the fact that we were eliminating spring break. And so one of the things that if you watched what was happening across the nation, a number of institutions were canceling spring break because it didn't make sense to bring everyone back into a bubble, send them out for spring break, and then bring them.
Thousands of healthcare students are back on campus this semester, many with the first dose of the new vaccine. Hannah Mursky has more on the students' experience with this new vaccine.
Health science students completing clinicals this semester were deemed a priority group for immunization by the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. The CDC's Vaccine Administration Management System sent an email before spring semester classes began, providing a link to schedule an appointment with participating clinics for a COVID-19 vaccine. To be qualified for the vaccine, students would have to be working in an inpatient setting. Jillian Chung, a third-year nursing major, was thrilled to hear she was qualified to receive the vaccine.
I wanted to get the vaccine to not only protect myself, but to protect other people.
Chung took to Asian Student Alliance's Instagram story the day she received the Moderna vaccine and shared her experience, hoping to influence students' opinion on receiving the vaccine positively.
And I just want to spread awareness that the vaccine has been really well researched. They worked really hard on it, and to show that I'm okay.
Health science students participating in clinicals this semester were made aware of the possibility of working alongside COVID-19 patients after being assigned.
I am on a COVID unit for clinical. It definitely is scary, but it makes me feel better that I am vaccinated. I have been vaccinated for a couple weeks now, so.
Just like essential workers working in hospitals, clinical students will be required to wear N95 masks as well as other PPE to protect themselves. For the rest of February, students at Quinnipiac will be tested weekly for coronavirus, but it is unlikely that clinical students will be tested weekly after February. For Q30 News,
Governor Ned Lamont made a statement during his coronavirus briefing about extending the restaurant curfew to 11 p.m. The new ruling was put into effect on February 2nd. Q30 News has an exclusive interview with Eli's about the new hours. Take a look.
If you and a guest go in and you have something, you finish, you eat, you drink, you're done, you have to go. You can't stay unless you have food. So not a lot of people get that. Not a lot of people are happy with that. So the extra hour doesn't do anything for us. It's not.
Today is February 10th, marking the 10th day of Black History Month. The idea came from historian Carter G. Woodson. The original appreciation started as a week called Negro History Week. Like many others, Quinnipiac is setting up ways to celebrate Black History Month and the diversity of the campus. The Multicultural Student Council and the Film Committee have announced their culture launch event. The Film Committee will edit clips from diverse groups on campus to raise their voices.
Quinnipiac Athletics has also been active in honoring the university's greatest Black athletes on Twitter. Former players such as Cam Young, Jen Fay, and Aaron McClure highlight the important message surrounding the month, recognizing the accomplishments of Black people, leading to more opportunities for them to succeed in the future.
Much of the world is built on the idea of people of color. Please make sure to do this research in February and learn more about Black figures in history.
And Quinnipiac will launch a volunteer income tax assistance program, which will provide free tax preparation to those who have annual household income of $57,000 or less. Envelopes with information about the program and its application process are available to off-campus residents at the Keith Community Center on Pine Street in Hamden. Matthew Moran, the program site coordinator, says it's a win-win for the taxpayers and students involved.
I like to call it a win-win-win. It's a win for the taxpayers. They're having their tax return prepared free of charge. It's a win for the students as they're getting to utilize what they learned in the classroom. And it's a win. It's a
The College of Arts and Sciences has a new dean. Dr. Adam David Roth was recently appointed to the position and will start on July 1st. Roth also plans to be a professor in the school and teach rhetoric and philosophy. Currently, he is the assistant to the dean for strategic initiatives in the College of Arts and Sciences, and a professor of communication studies, and rhetorics at the University of Rhode Island. Starting on July 1st, the Frank H. Netter School of Medicine will also have a new dean, Dr. Philip M. Boisel. Boisel previously worked for Florida Atlantic University as a professor and dean at the Charles E. Schmidt College of Medicine.
Well, I'm very excited to have them, so we can't go wrong. When we come back, Cassidy Berger joins us with updates in our nation's political news.
And we also have a date for SGA's State of the Union coming up this March 2nd. That's finally been finalized, so please make sure to stay tuned.
And we take a look at what's coming up in our weather.
Hey Bobcats, I'm back with this week's weather. I have a little insight into what these next few days are going to look like. Today we had a high of 32 with a low of 19, so make sure to bundle up tonight. Tomorrow we have a high of 34 and a low of 12 degrees. We have a high of 29 and 12 for Friday. I have this and more right after the break.
Welcome back, Bobcats. Q-thon is only a few weeks away, and students are getting so excited to have a little bit of normalcy with this event.
For more info on the day and locations, Vanessa Blasi has more. Vanessa?
Every year, Quinnipiac students and organizations come together for a 10-hour-long dance marathon known as Q-thon.
Q-thon is Quinnipiac University's dance marathon program. Throughout the year, we raise funds and awareness for Connecticut children, and in the spring semester, the QU community, usually around 2,000 students, comes together to celebrate all of our hard work, as well as the patients and families who receive care at Connecticut Children's.
So far, Q-thon members have already begun preparing for their big day.
We do know that it will be on Saturday, April 17th, from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. on the quad. We are planning to have a couple different locations on campus, so probably kind of having like the entertainment piece right on the quad, as well as another probably food, like a food location in South Lot.
Due to the coronavirus, Q-Thon was forced to go virtual last year. However, that did not stop them from continuing their traditions.
And last year, it was all through Instagram Live. We posted the morale dance video, which is kind of the cornerstone of the day of Q-Thon, where everybody every hour learns the dance. And our executive director, Rachel Taylor, last year went on Instagram Live and did the opening ceremonies. And then they did a virtual reveal on Zoom.
Compared to last year's virtual event, students are really looking forward to bringing their dance moves back in person.
We've kind of, begun reaching out to different performance groups, which is another big thing that happens at Q-Thon. We invite a lot of our dance teams to come perform. So we've been in contact with them to see if this is still something that they want to participate in the day of, but we're still kind of figuring out all the logistics and things like that. So more to come.
Q-Thon continues to make an impact on the children in hospitals, and club members hope that this year they can raise even more money to help these children.
Kevin Jiang, a Yale graduate, was shot and killed this weekend in New Haven. Police were investigating his death as a homicide and have named a suspect. 29-year-old Chung Shu Win Pan was announced as a person of interest today. Police warn that he is dangerous and anyone who comes in contact with him should, quote, use extreme caution, end quote. Please stay safe.
2 separate robberies led to the arrest of 5 people last Sunday morning. The first crime took place at a gas station on State Street. Police reports stated that 3 men were carrying weapons as they threatened two store employees for cash. 40 minutes later, police then responded to another report of 3 gunmen attempting to steal cash from Krauser's food store on Whitney Avenue. A car chase then led to police capturing the 5 men. They're all scheduled to appear in Meriden Superior Court on April 5th.
Student Government Association will host their annual State of the Union on March 2nd from 4 to 6 p.m. The event will be held virtually, so all Quinnipiac students will be able to watch. The event will operate as a live stream where the panel will be seen. Students and faculty can watch online or be part of a physical watch party.
Mostly going to be virtual, just in case anything does happen. We want the event to still occur, and so all the panelists will be online in like a Zoom webinar, and students will be able to log on via Zoom from home or from anywhere. We'll also be having like an in-person watch party in the Student Center as well.
Former President Donald Trump is going through his second impeachment trial. This is the first time a president has been tried twice in American history.
Cassidy Berger has that and more for us. Cassidy?
Thanks, guys. The top headline out of Washington tonight is, of course, the impeachment trial of former President Donald Trump. Yesterday, the Senate decided that the trial was constitutional in a 56-44 vote. 6 Republican senators joined the Democrats in the majority vote. Senator Bill Cassidy of Louisiana changed his vote, saying the arguments made showed that the trial met the standards to move forward. The day began with graphic footage from the January 6th riot. Leading the House trial team is Representative Jamie Raskin, who argued that former President Trump's message to his supporters directly incited the violence at the Capitol.
He had been warned that these followers were prepared for a violent attack, targeting us at the Capitol through media reports, law enforcement reports, and even...
Today began the first of 2 days for the Democratic House managers to present their case against former President Donald Trump. Lead House Manager Representative Raskin began the arguments.
I am looking at what we're seeing now. I have said that I will look to the evidence that is presented, the evidence that has been presented thus far.
He had been warned that these followers were prepared for a violent attack, targeting us at the Capitol through media reports, law enforcement reports, and even...
The videos of the riot shown by trial managers sparked strong reactions from both Democratic and Republican lawmakers. Senator Lisa Murkowski of Alaska had this to say.
I am looking at what we're seeing now. I have said that I will look to the evidence that is presented. The evidence that has been presented thus far is pretty damning, but I also know that I have an obligation, a responsibility, and one that I accept to listen to what the defense.
The Democrats will continue their arguments tomorrow at noon. That's all I have for politics tonight. I'm Cassidy Berger. Back to Eric and Ashley at the desk.
Thanks, Cassidy. And when we come back, there's been snow everywhere in Hamden, Ashley, but will this weather continue this weekend?
And find out how students will take part in Q30 during a pandemic. Stay with us.
There are amazing things to discover in the forest.
Toothless, time to go! What you picking up on, bud?
It's a whole hidden world of wonders. And the perfect place to spend time with family. What better place to let your imagination soar? Experience nature and create a memory you can share. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest or park near you.
Welcome back to the Q30 Newscast. Now, Ashley, I believe Puxatawny Phil predicted 6 extra weeks of winter, and it certainly looks like it out there right now. I mean, you see all the snow on the ground in Hamden. It's crazy to see.
It really is. I am 5'7", and the snow is already up to my knee in front of my house.
Oh
so
my
that's
goodness.
a lot of snow. But Carly McManus is here to give us this week's weather update. I am so tired of snow, Carly.
Me too.
Do we get some warm weather soon?
All right, Ashley, I hate to break it to you, but there is no warm weather coming anytime soon. But in our area, in New London, we have a high of 21. Our current temperatures in New Haven, we have a high of 25. Danbury, 24. Torrington, 21. Hartford, our capital, 23. And Norwich, 29 degrees. And then here we have the 7-day forecast. Today, we had a high of 34 and a low of 19. Tomorrow, we have partially cloudy with a high of 33 and a low of 12. So make sure you're bundling up tomorrow night when you go for that little walk. And on Friday, partially cloudy yet again, but a little lower in temperature. We have a 29 degrees and 11 for our low. Saturday, we have a cloudy day. It is going to be 27 degrees with a low of 20. And on Sunday, Valentine's Day, we have some lovely snow, a nice 32 degrees with a low of 14. Monday, we have 26 degrees and a low of 17. And on Tuesday, 33 degrees with a low of 26. That's all we have for today for the weather, and back to the desk.
Carly, I really cannot wait for warm weather, but thank you. The university and surrounding Hamden areas have been hit with 2 snowstorms in the past 2 weeks. On top of COVID dangers and restrictions, more students have been opting to go online, even when their classes are hosted in person. Q30's own Luca Triant has more information and speaks to political science professors about their attendance.
This happened in most of my classes. There were far fewer students than the room capacity. And it's not just the snow that caused this. A lot of people are concerned about COVID risks. I've heard that some courses have students who are willing and able to come to every class meeting. Those that don't feel willing or able to do it, stay online, and just give students a choice about what they would prefer to do.
I think that having an event like
The college Republicans and Democrats teamed up on Tuesday to virtually hold their annual debate. The event was hosted by the Political Science Association. Those not part of the debate were able to watch on Zoom and have the opportunity to win prizes. And Max Schreiber is here tonight with the...
I think that having an event like this has proved to be really important for a way for the 3 political organizations on campus to come together and be respectful towards one another while also having a healthy debate. I think it's important that we all share different ideas. That's the whole point of our club, is to be bipartisan. That's not right.
Vaccines are starting to be given out to many people in a variety of locations, even including the White House. Max Schreiber is here with today's national news. Max?
Well, thank you, Eric. The U.S. Senate completed the second day of the second impeachment trial of former President Donald Trump. The trial, of course, is over whether or not Trump insinuated the January 6th insurrection at the Capitol building over false claims that the 2020 presidential election was stolen from Trump. Before the riot, Trump uttered the words, "If you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore." The Senate needs 17 Republican votes to convict Trump, which would forbid him from holding office again. Democrats say that Trump provoked the riot, and many members of Congress are reliving the horrors of being in the Capitol that day. But many Republicans, like Ted Cruz, are siding with Trump, saying the former president won't be indicted and the trial is a waste of time. $9.8 million Americans have been fully vaccinated for COVID-19 so far. So is there light at the end of the tunnel? Well, cases in the U.S. hit their lowest 7-day average since November 3rd, and this week the Biden administration plans to ramp up distribution of the vaccine, aiming to vaccinate 8 million people this week and 11 million next week. The Biden administration also announced they will be shipping 1 million doses to many retail pharmacies such as Walmart, Walgreens, and CVS to give out shots as soon as Friday. The White House will also start shipping doses of the vaccines directly to federally qualified community health centers next week to help reach underserved communities that have been disproportionately affected by the pandemic. And a race for the vaccine may be more imperative after situations like Sunday. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers became the first team to win the Super Bowl in their own stadium as Brady won his 7th ring. Now there's concern that the Super Bowl celebrations and festivities in Tampa will lead to a spike in coronavirus cases. After the Bucs' big win, many people were seen crowding in downtown Tampa, maskless, violating health protocols last week. The city proceeded with socially distanced Super Bowl festivities, but health officials warned against big Super Bowl gatherings, especially with the U.S.'s new UK COVID variant levels, the highest in Florida. Many people were ignoring health protocols, so there's major concern with the Super Bowl being a super spreader.
1 in 3 adults has pre-diabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your favorite brother, your other brother, you, your football buddy, your football buddy, you, the boss's boss. If 1 in 3 adults has pre-diabetes, that means it could be you, your barber, your barber's barber.
Nice work.
Thanks.
You, your plumber,
Breathe right into your foot.
your plumber's masseuse.
Yes.
You, your dog walker,
On your left.
your cat jogger. Or you, your co-pilot, your co-pilot's co-pilot. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org to know where you stand.
We'll begin with the men's ice hockey team, as they are currently the 11th ranked team out of the USCHO poll with a 12-5-3 record and a 6-3-3 record in the ECAC. They currently sit on top of the ECAC standings with the conference tournament around the corner. Seniors Keith Petruzzelli and Odine Tufto are on this year's ballot for the Hobie Baker Award, the MVP trophy in the NCAA. Keith Petruzzelli is also on the Mike Richter Award watch list for the best goalie in the country. They'll be taking on Colgate this weekend. Back to you, Eric.
Thank you, Gage, for the sports, and thank you all for tuning in for this edition of the Q30 Newscast.
Remember to follow us on social media, follow Q30 TV, and download our app to get all of our Quinnipiac news as it comes out.
I'm Eric Kerr.
And I'm Ashley Cotto. Good night, Bobcats.